welcome to another episode of Well-Adjusted Mama. I'm your host, Dr. Laura Brayton, and today's guest is Juraj Kocar, and we're speaking about mitigating the effects of radiation during pregnancy. Juraj is an endless optimist with a passion to build and grow projects with meaning. Right now, he's the CEO of his dream project, Somavedic. It's a functional and broadly accessible frequency therapy device harmonizing the negative effects of EMFs, which is electromagnetic radiation from cell phones, Wi-Fi, etc. Somavedic is helping people in the office and home environment to have more energy, mental clarity, and focus during the day, and improve sleep at night, with confirmed results from users in science labs. For more information, you can go to somavedic.com. Hi, Juraj. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to have you on today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So you're very knowledgeable and an expert in essentially helping the body mitigate the effects of radiation and EMF. And this is a topic that I think a lot of people aren't really familiar with, but especially women that are planning to get pregnant or are pregnant really need to be very knowledgeable around. So I'm excited for you to share today with what you know.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, great. So let's start off with just kind of talking about who you are and why you became so passionate about this topic.
Yes, so I'm the CEO of Somavedic Technologies, and we as a company are producing a frequency therapy device that was designed to mitigate the negative effects of EMF radiation. The way how the Somavedic is doing it is by a combination of various precious stones and minerals and crystals that are inside, together with our proprietary frequency therapy technology. So what we are doing, we are amplifying the properties of frequencies of these precious stones and minerals. So you can think of a Somavedic, it works like a Wi-Fi router, but in a good way, that is creating this coherent field in your apartment, and the cells react differently to the EMFs around. They are not so stressed. You can feel better and everything. We can discuss this later, but basically, on a nutshell, this is what Somavedic is doing, and why I joined Somavedic was few years after, because around 2012 I was going through a transformation health-wise. I was quite sick, like high blood pressure, cholesterol, brain fog, chest pain, like you name it. It was because of my lifestyle. Then I had to change that. I changed that. That helped a lot. And when I go, successfully through this phase, I wanted to help people in various ways how to, improve their health and wellness. Actually, so I was drawn to this, helping people on a scale like worldwide. And few years after that, I was visiting a friend of mine who had these glowing, colorful lamps all over his living room. And when I asked him like what it is, he said like, it's Somavedic is doing this and that. He shared with me some stories, very interesting ones. And then I knew like it just clicked, and I said like, yes, this is it. This is what I would like to do. Thanks to this device that is scalable, that we can ship to like worldwide audience, we can help other people, to with sleeping problems, energy levels, and various other ways. So yeah, this would be in a nutshell my journey.
Wow, I love it. And so you're not the scientist who created the technology, but you resonated with literally with the technology and wanted to help bring this company that's based in Czech, correct?
Yes. So the founder, the actual inventor, is Ivan, a dear friend of mine. And again, it was his health journey that he was struggling with his life, then found out about the EMFs, and he had to turn to Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine and different healing properties of precious stones and minerals that eventually helped him to get out of his illnesses. And then he started helping other people, family and friends. And eventually he decided to put together the knowledge and experience into a device. And that was when the first idea of Samovedi came to be, and the first prototype was born in April 2011.
Got it. All right. So that was 11 years ago now. And it's amazing. It's obviously the company has grown and it's evolved in all these different product lines. And, I think a lot of people listening were probably aware of the power of crystals and how they can help with different healing properties. But what's cool, so you could have a crystal sitting in your home and you could meditate near it. But what you're telling me is Somavedics technology takes those powerful healing qualities and amplifies it, makes it even more powerful for
Yes.
healing.
Yes, exactly. So Ivan, as throughout this, life experiences, he became very intuitive and sensitive. His extra sensory abilities woke up, and he was, thanks to that and his other extrasensory friends, they were able, to start experimenting with, with various like precious stones and minerals and crystals, and how they are interacting with each other and how they are amplifying each other, and then also plus the frequency therapy technology. So yes, this is there is a special let's say way how to combine them, how to put them together. Because it's not that if you would buy like 50, to go to crystal shop and buy 50 of gemstones that you would put them on a table, that you would have a Somavedic. That's not how it works.
Right. Exactly. So it's not 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = 100
4 at
or
least,
whatever that
yes.
is, 1,000. So there's that amplification, and it's, I guess, the science behind knowing the different energetic frequencies and how they can work together to create the best results.
Yes, I mean, during the first year, he was testing it with bioresonance devices, which are quite widespread in Europe. There are some, of course, in US as well. I know of some clinics in LA, in San Francisco, New York, that are using bioresonance devices to diagnose and treat, like various things. So during the first year, he was measuring the effects of Somavedic thanks to bioresonance devices, and it was basically going. So the results were so great that the number one and number two producer of bioresonance devices reached out to Ivan, if he could be, private labeling, and producing Somavedics for them, because they were testing it in at their headquarters, and they got some amazing results. So they wanted to, have this product that is really like working, so to even to produce it for them. So yeah, I mean, these were the first years of Somavedic, and then the studies expanded to more to the different doctors and clinics were doing studies on, for example, the sleep, where there was a significant improvement in the quality and quantity of sleep. HRV went up. The deep sleep was increased, and this is very crucial phase where our bodies are regenerating. So if the sleep is disrupted, in long term, it will have negative effects, because sleep is the it's a very precious time window and a phase, as I said, where the body is regenerating, starting the regeneration processes. So
Yeah,
we
it's when our
have
bodies heal.
yeah. So we have the data on HRV and deep sleep. We have effects showing effects on the blood pressure. People feel better in terms of they feel more calm and in peace. We have data from Germany, for example, how the speed of cell regeneration is improved when we introduce somavedic into the environment. So yeah, we
Which is
have.
anti-aging.
Yes, exactly. So yes, because on another study, there are showing how the levels of free radicals, are basically lowered. It's the aging of the cells, and again, that's again, like an anti-aging like thing.
Right. So it's helping with oxidative stress.
Yes.
And some of that's coming from EMF, but I guess it could also be from other sources as well.
Well,
Correct?
definitely. I mean, EMF is one of the sources of oxidative stress. The you know it's your lifestyle, it's your diet, it's your stress levels, that are influencing, that have influence on your, of course, like oxidative stress and free radicals. But the but the effects of the influence of EMFs, as they are exponentially, the strength of it and the density is exponentially growing every year, has more and more profound influence on our bodies and cells, and the levels of free radicals.
A negative influence.
Yes.
So let's maybe go back a little bit. Can we just talk about EMF and what it is, and like you mentioned, how it's even becoming more expansive and more of an issue?
Yeah, so EMF stands for electromagnetic frequency. It's basically this invisible force that devices are communicating with each other. So like cell phones, Bluetooth headsets, laptops, Wi-Fi's, your TV remote control. So in order for them to function, they have to radiate some kind of like frequency and signal and communicate with each other. Of course, then there are like BTS towers, and all of the EMFs, the man-made EMFs, came with the invention of electricity. Of course, because when it's something is powered by the electricity, it is radiating EMFs by itself. Even the wiring in your home and everything. And
All right. So this predates internet.
yes, exactly. It started with with the invention of electricity. Like about, let's say, about 100 years ago. Yeah. So it started there, but then during the technological, revolution after the second World War, it started to really grow exponentially. For example, in 2015, two professors have done basically the measurements and evaluations and found out that uh, they were comparing the EMF levels in 2015 when they were doing the study to the pre-electricity levels, like let's say 100 years ago. And they found out that it's billion times higher than it used to be, which is like this, it's enormous number. And then in 2011, the WHO qualified EMFs as like possibly carcinogenic. So And this was 2011. There was not even an iPhone during that time. And just imagine, you know all of the technological progress, so many, like hundreds of devices that are now around you and emitting this field. So yeah, this would be in a, the nutshell about the EMFs and the history and how much it grew in the last years.
And it's going to grow even, like you said, more, over the next 10 years plus, like certainly within our lifetimes, right? So,
Yeah.
in our children's lifetime. So let's talk a little bit about potentially how this can impact fetal development in a pregnant woman. These are just a bunch of cells that are replicating during pregnancy. How does EMF impact that?
Yes, so of course, there are some safety standards or guidelines for this kind of technology, and it's based on SAR, which is like specific absorption rate. But the the numbers are set and the tests were done on a male, 6'5", like 200 pounds, like a big guy. And they were measuring basically the thermal effect of EMF that it had on his brain. And but the EMF are working on a cellular level. They are damaging the cells on a cellular level much sooner than it gets to some kind of thermal effect. So this is one thing that's wrong. The second thing, that they were measuring it on like a huge guy, and then imagine something so small and fragile and tiny as a small children or fetus, or like a pregnant women, where the the EMF just basically penetrates, because adults have quite, let's say, thick skull, and even though the EMF is penetrating like to the head, but given fetuses or small children, it just gets like right through them. And this is, that's the reason why really we have to talk about this topic, and how to mitigate the exposure of pregnant women and children.
Right. So, what do you recommend for women that are listening that are planning to get pregnant or are pregnant, how they can protect themselves and their babies?
Yeah, so when we are talking about pregnant women, like there are like various studies even showing EMFs, how it's affecting the fertility of men, especially of men. But getting back to to the question, the best thing is to lower the EMF exposure as much as possible. That would be starting with turning off the Wi-Fi router if you don't need it. Having cable internet access. I know that it's not convenient, but this is something you can do. And if not, then you can definitely turn it off during night when you sleep, because to help your body to regenerate, because the body can regenerate and restore itself from the, let's say, from the damage or effects. It just needs we just need to provide the time. So during the night is the best time for that. So turning off the Wi-Fi, not bringing cell phones to your bedroom, uh, you know, uh, turning it off, putting it on a flight mode, not wearing Bluetooth headsets, and then we using wired headphones when you are on a call, using a loudspeaker, or buying a grounding mat.
All right. So, like, if you're looking to check for the amount of EMF in your home, is there ways to do that to kind of understand your risk?
Of course, of course. I mean, there are like companies, providing the measurements of the EMF levels, uh, or for example, like Test My Home, or a web page, or you can buy your own EMF reader, and decide based on that. You can decide, for example, where to place your bed, where or where not to place your children bed, or where to have a sofa and where not to have a sofa. And what, because sometimes there isn't much you can do if you are living in a rented apartment or a home. Sometimes you just can't influence some things. So thanks to an EMF meter, you will basically visually see and hear, because they have also like sound, like speaker that you can hear how the level of the EMFs. So you can decide based on that, where to place your bedroom on and bed and sofas and everything.
So even within the same house, there could be some areas of the house that are higher than others.
Well, it's very different, almost like meter by meter. I mean, like 3 feet. You move the EMF meter by 2 or 3 feet, and it's very different. So even there are huge differences even in one room. Not mentioning the whole home.
That is amazing. That's so crazy. And so, like, even I know here in the US, 5G has been a big thing. And, all the cell phone companies are like, oh, this is amazing, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of concerns of how that's impacting our health.
I
Can you
Yes,
speak
I
to that as
mean,
well?
sure. I mean, the 5G. I think it's a technology, one of the technologies that we really really don't need. It's
Mm,
the
that's not
industry.
what the marketing would tell you.
Yes, because the speed of previous generations, network cell phone generation, were enough, for video calls, for everything. The bandwidth was there. I mean, this it was really not that, let's say, necessary, but yeah, they need to like sell more, update more, make things faster. That's the so-called progress. But and the worst thing about the 5G, one of the worst things, is that it's not replacing the old technology, the 4G, 3G, and whatever we had. It's adding up to whatever we have now, because it's working on a different principle. Uh, the I mean, the 5G towers and the emitters needs to be much closer, so we need more of them. So it's just adding exponentially up to the already dense like EMF soup. And uh, some of the 5G signals are using millimeter waves. And there is research from Soviet Union. It's like 40 years old, uh, that is showing, and it was declassified in 2012. That is showing that the millimeter waves, like again, like decades ago, have like a negative impact on our cells. So there's a lots of things that you can, like, when you would like to find out more, you can find out more internet. But yes, the 5G, that's something really we should be talking more about, and trying to lower the exposure. There is one, let's say, positive aspect about 5G is, or I mean, how I see it, is that the topic of EMF is getting more into the mainstream, thanks to the, let's say, thanks to the 5G towers.
Mm, right. So more and more people are hearing about EMF. And even though the marketing is portraying it as a positive thing, there's an opportunity to research and learn more and The purpose of today's podcast is to really share how EMF does impact our health and our cells. Large men, small babies, everybody with cells, right? Everybody. And I think also beyond once the baby's born, the other thing that is an issue, these babies grow so quickly, even after the birth, right? With their replication and everything. And people really, at least in the US, really love to look at their baby with these baby monitors. And, the baby monitors can be Wi-Fi, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
have
they are. Yes,
exposure for this baby.
yes, they are, and they are really not a good thing to have near your baby. But there are also like low EMF levels baby monitors, and you can also find them on internet. So that's a good thing. But one thing I want to mention is that there was a meta study. Meta study means a study that is going through lots of studies and putting some kind of conclusion together. So there was a big meta study done in various studies that were done in between 97 and 2013, showing that more than there was a connection with more than 11,000 children. There was a connection between the EMF levels and the child leukemia. So, it's basically, it's a very serious topic. And for example, in Italy, there are 6 cases that were brought to the highest court and won, where there was a correlation between a brain tumor and cell phone radiation. So, it is something definitely to talk about.
Right. And, I think what's interesting, so a lot of people know, like, okay, you probably shouldn't have your cell phone next to your head all day. That's not going to be great for your health. Or certainly, I mean, even my husband, I'm like, don't sleep with the cell phone right next to you for your alarm clock, right? You can put it at least 6 feet away. I keep my cell phone out of our bedroom, but he's still breaking that habit.
Yeah, I mean, flight mode, would basically solve it.
You still use alarm still works, but you're
Yes,
in that
of course.
airplane mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a good point. And you can do that at bedtime. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, so people are like, oh, okay, so I don't want, if I have to be on the phone, I don't want to talk with my phone right next to me. So I'll use my AirPods, right? But there's issues with that as well because of the Bluetooth.
Yes, yes. I mean, earpods and any other, similar headphone, wireless headphones are one of the worst things, you can currently buy, because it's bad enough, when you are on the phone and on talking, when you have on your ear, but when you have a Bluetooth like headset, it's going really directly like through your brain, because the headphones are communicating with each other, the left with right and right with left. That means, it's just basically like going through your brain. And the Bluetooth signal and exposure is quite strong, and has definitely an effect so on your brain and brain waves and brain cells. So I really do recommend like using wired headphones or a loudspeaker. I mean, you get really used to it quite fast. I mean, of course, you can't use it everywhere, but with majority of calls that I'm having, I'm just on the loudspeaker. I have it in front of me, and that's really enough, because the signal is really ultra strong when you have it on your like next to your head, and it's much weaker just like a foot or 2 feet away from you. So yeah, wired headphones or loudspeaker like that usually are enough.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And the wireless are convenient at times, or like you said, sometimes you can't be on a speaker if there's, private call or a loud background, but um, it's something for people to kind of think about and have, consider, right? Like when you're looking at your ongoing daily, weekly, monthly, yearly exposure, how can we cut back and make positive lifestyle changes?
Yeah, because there are definitely, because there are like cities, for example, in Europe that just basically decided to ban Wi-Fi's from school.
Wow.
Yes,
Really? That
yeah.
hasn't hit
So
the US yet.
yeah, yeah. Well, in France, for example, in Spain, in there are municipalities and some people aware of this problem, where they know how damaging it may be to the children. And regarding when you compare the safety standards or the levels allowed in US versus Europe. I mean, each country has its own. In Europe, has its own standards, but in general, the US standards, are like they are like 10 to 100 times, let's say, worse. You can have the radiation, the EMF radiation, much higher is allowed than in European countries. I mean,
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah.
Because then
So
that's what people think is safe, right? That's what's in their best interest. That's public health. But it really doesn't sound like that's true.
yeah, because you only have those are like safety standards, but what they are actually recommendations. There are guidelines.
Uh-huh.
You won't be fined when like have like even higher radiation. Those are just guidelines, and they we just again awareness is and speaking about it is something that we need to do, to change it, or have at least try.
For sure. And, so I'm thinking about these kids in school. They're developing, they're growing, and that's their whole body, right? Not just even their brain,
Yeah,
but all of the cells of their body are going to be potentially impacted, or damaged or stressed, right? And then by this EMF exposure. And then, with their future careers, it's almost like, how do you, like, there's, these careers are just all technology almost, right? Everyone has to be like a computer person, with this
yeah,
upcoming generation.
yeah. Unfortunately, it is like that. So one of the another quite, let's say, interesting things is that, and how you can really tell that EMF is really not good for us is that insurance companies banned any, basically, there is no insurance against EMF effects. You can't be insured
Oh,
against EMF.
interesting.
So they know for lots of years that it's not good, and you basically can't be insured against that. There's no insurance for that. So that just gives you an example that and they are very careful with their money, and they don't want to bet on this because they know that the cases will just grow.
Right. Yes. So, we have to be smart consumers. A lot of my podcast episodes talk about minimizing chemical exposure because there's just so much chemicals in our environment, and those create oxidative stress and negative cellular changes. But this is another one too. And I think what's to me, a little more scarier is it is invisible. And so, we can read the labels on our cleaning products and our skincare, and have an awareness about minimizing our toxic exposure to chemicals. but it's harder to do that with EMF, right? There's no label that says, okay, this part of your house, unless you get the scanner, right? You have to really
Yeah.
say, like, where's my exposure? And, an awareness that, like, you don't just check one part of your house, you have to check everywhere to see what's going on with this.
Yeah, 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 definitely. I mean, I would just, advise people really to try turning off their Wi-Fi's and cell phones during the night, or put them in a flight mode. Not uh, and I can guarantee that they would feel a difference in their sleep. And to try to turn off as many devices in their bedroom as possible, and for few days, just so can they test it out, and the majority of people really can feel the difference.
Wow, that's amazing. So ideally, even like no TV in your bedroom, no computers, or if you do, have them all turned off.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And I do love the idea, like having the phone in airplane mode if you are going to keep it in your bedroom. But I mean, ever since I had a child, I don't really need an alarm clock. So I just keep my phone in
Yeah.
the bathroom, which is like around the corner, but it's definitely still in a separate room.
Yeah.
Just because I know I don't need it near me when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of the things, where I was talking about grounding mats.
Yeah, let's talk more about that.
Yeah, when you sit, in your office or at home, they are like really, they are not expensive at all, and basically when you are connected to the ground, there are like various studies showing that it's improving the inflammation in your body, the EMF effects and everything. But you can always do it, by basically just walking barefoot, on the grass, and it just takes like few seconds to discharge,
Wow,
all of
that
the
quick.
energy. Yeah, all of the energy that is in your body. And for those who would like to research it more, there is very interesting documentary on YouTube. It's called Earthing, and it's showing really amazing results just by grounding yourself like few minutes a day, how much it's free and how much you can help your body, to regenerate faster.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think, people that even if they have yards, they don't necessarily think about taking their shoes off or their child's shoes, weather dependent, and getting that, grass between your toes. The same thing when you're at the beach, right? I know it's very powerful with the negative ions, and it really helps to shift
Yeah.
the energy in our body.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what was very fascinating for me to for example, watching the documentary was how autistic children reacted. One of the teachers said that that was, taking care of a child, and she said that he was not able to focus for more than 7 seconds, to pay attention more to than 7 seconds, as soon as they moved outside and they were grounded. She said it took he was able to pay attention for several minutes, which was like a huge difference. So it's easy, it's pleasant to do, and I definitely recommend that.
Yeah, and it's you can never start young enough, right? I think
Yeah.
the more you can be outside in nature anyways, the better, for multiple reasons, but that this earthing is one of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're just using the I guess you're essentially what's your grounding is allowing your body to connect to the earth's core.
Yes, yes, the grounding basically discharges all of the, because we
The
are,
positive ions.
yeah, positive and negative ions, and there are like the current and electricity going on in our bodies. And when we wear like plastic things. There's a charge when we are EMF environment. So all of that like goes away, is discharged as soon as we touch the ground. That's why you have grounding cables on your uh, like devices. It's the one in the middle, that's the grounding cable, so they function well, and it's very similar with our bodies.
Wow, that's so powerful. And then if you are going to be, at the computer, you can get the grounding mat and ideally also a standing desk, because I hate when people sit for hours at a time. And you can stand or have your feet touching that mat if you're unable to, let's say, work outside.
Yes, I have a grounding mat on my table. It's basically this large like black mat that is where my hands are on it, like all the time. When
Oh,
I'm on
wow,
the
it's on your desk.
yes, when I'm on the keyboard, or my mouse is on it. So my hands are basically all the time on it. So you don't need, it's universal. You can stay on it with your feet, but I have it on my desk.
And if it is on the floor, do your feet have to be barefoot, or can you have shoes on?
You have to be barefoot. Yes.
Got it. So the hands or feet without
Yes.
anything on
Yes.
them.
Yes. As long as it it's your skin touching the mat, so it's working.
Got it. All right. Awesome. Do you have any last thoughts you want to share with the audience?
Well, I think we've discussed like lots of interesting things, and it's about holistic approach to your like health and wellness. I mentioned this before. It's the diet, it's the lifestyle, it's the water, it's the air, it's our thoughts, it's the EMF. We really have to do our best to and from all sides to improve our lives.
That's right. And it is multifactorial, and it's a lifestyle. This is how you live every day to optimize your health, your vitality for yourself and your children. So if anyone listening is interested in learning more about Somavedic products, you can go to somavedic.com, and you have all different types of products there with this type of technology. I have the Vedic in my home, and I also have the portable keychain that I keep in my pocket when I'm not at my house to help my body. And you can get a 10% off any purchase with the code Dr. Laura to save money off of the products. Do you have a favorite that you love from Somavedic?
Well, the bestseller and basically the all-in-one, the most versatile we have is the Vedic. Is the one that you have. It's strong enough to mitigate the 5G effects, and it's also structuring the water, making it more bioavailable. But one thing I would do like to mention is that we have like a 60-day money back guarantee. So basically, there's like no risk to test it out. You just try it out for 2 months, and you will see if it's helping you or not.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thank you once again for coming on the show today and sharing your knowledge about EMF.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Well, I hope you learned more about EMF and how we can help protect ourselves and our families from the damaging effects of radiation from electromagnetic frequency. That is unfortunately completely part of our environment and technology, and very hard to live without. So smart consumer choices, we can help protect ourselves. I highly recommend, investing in a product from Somavedic. It will certainly improve the health of your entire family by having a unit in your home. And you can get those at somavedic.com. Use the discount code Dr. Laura, that's DRLAURA, for a 10% discount off your order. And the Vedic is in my home, and I have definitely felt positive changes since having it for the past couple months.